This is Liz Jackson reporting for Concrete and UEA TV here in Chapelfield Gardens. We're going to be reporting on the protest of the English Defence League and the counter-protest by We Are Norwich. We'll be here all day, so stay tuned. 200 to 300 people attended the We Are Norwich counter-protest, which began at Chapelfield Gardens and opened with music and speeches, including some from the student union's representatives. Crowds turned out despite the grey weather, carrying different banners from a variety of anti-fascist groups. We asked several of the protesters why they were there to protest that day and why they thought it was important to oppose the EDL.
Yeah, the English Defence League decided to march in Norwich, and we thought it was really important that we had a visible demonstration against them, because if they just came to Norwich and no one said anything and just stayed in their homes, it would seem like no one was against them. And what they're trying to do is create fear and divide the community, and it's shown in previous cities in England that if no one comes out and protests against them, then they just run rampage and intimidate people. And
the EDL are like slowly diminishing because, and it's for the reason of like protests like this. Like the only way you're going to defeat something like this is if there's like an active like kind of resistance against it, or just like a presence against it.
I feel really disgusted that the EDL are coming to Norwich. You know, this is our city. The city belongs to all these people that are here today, from the guys from Pride, the guys from the mosque, the Christians that are here, you know, and we don't want to be bullied by them, and we don't want them to think that they can like bring us down or oppress us or make us scared. And you know, we're really proud to be part of Norwich altogether, and yeah, we just want to show them that.
And we believe that everybody is equal, and we think this is our street, and we don't want these racist thugs coming here spouting, you know, their disgusting slogans and things. So that's why we've come out this morning.
Okay, so for what reason do you find yourself out and protesting today?
Because you have to. Yeah, you can't accept them. You've got to say no.
What is it about them that you find so kind of abhorrent?
Racism, homophobia, sexism, and bigotry. That's a good word, yeah. Basically, it's actually a denial of what England represents. And if we are a multicultural society, we should embrace it and celebrate it.
Like, there's so many different groups of people here at the protest. It just shows that Norwich is something to protect, and it would be a shame if the EDL came here and thought that their day was a success, basically.
The route had been planned in advance with help of Norwich Police Service, and 500 policemen were on duty to oversee the entire day's events. We Are Norwich's route focused on the Chapelfield area, marching towards town before circling back towards City Hall where speeches were made. Both marches were organised at different times, so the counter-protesters made their City Hall speeches at 1 p.m, followed half an hour later by the EDL to keep the groups apart. The EDL congregated at Castle Meadow Gardens, joined from other divisions around the country who marched from the train station chanting EDL slogans. They were escorted by police and EDL security. During the beginning of the EDL's march, it was interrupted by an anti-fascist protester heckling them from the side of the hill, which later evolved into a fight between EDL members and a breakaway group of anti-fascist protesters. This was broken up by police. The march continued along Castle Meadow and onto City Hall in the heart of the city. Several EDL marchers declined to be interviewed, and the EDL were asked for a comment, but a representative could not be reached. The police turnout was large and visibly present throughout the city on both routes. As the EDL protesters began to culminate near City Hall, they were met with boos and protests from Norwich locals. After speeches were made at City Hall, both groups dispersed, and other than the delay of buses held up at Castle Meadow, Norwich remained relatively undisturbed by the protests.